In the quiet morning breeze, a billionaire knelt before his late wife's grave, his heart heavy with years of unspoken pain. But that day wasn't like the others. Because just a few feet away, a young, poor girl was crying so uncontrollably that even the wind seemed to pause. Her trembling voice broke through the silence, whispering words that froze him in place, words that made him question everything he thought he knew about his past, his wife, and even himself. What she said that morning would change his life forever. Ethan Cole was a man the world admired but few truly knew. On magazine covers, he was the symbol of success, a billionaire entrepreneur, philanthropist, and widower who had built an empire from nothing. But behind the tailored suits and polished interviews, Ethan carried a weight he could never unload: the memory of his wife, Claire. She had been the light of his life, his reason for dreaming, his moral compass. And 5 years after cancer took her away, that light still burned in his memory like an unhealed wound. Every Sunday, he visited her grave, the only place where he felt human again. That morning, as golden sunlight spilled over the marble headstones, he brought her favorite lilies, just like always. But as he approached the grave, he heard a sound that didn't belong in the stillness, the soft sobs of a girl, raw and broken, echoing through the empty cemetery. Curiosity and compassion pulled him closer. A young woman, no older than 20, sat by a nearby grave, her clothes worn, her hands clutching a faded photo. Tears streaked down her cheeks as she whispered something under her breath, something about losing everything, about a promise broken. Ethan hesitated, torn between respect and concern. Finally, he spoke softly, "Miss, are you okay?" The girl startled, wiping her tears quickly, embarrassed. "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to disturb you. I come here because it's the only place I feel close to my mother." Her voice cracked on the word mother, and Ethan felt a pang in his chest. He nodded gently, setting down his lilies. "It's okay. Loss doesn't follow rules." The girl looked at his wife's grave, reading the name engraved on the stone: Claire Cole. Her eyes widened slightly, as if recognizing it. She looked at Ethan again. "You're her husband?" "Yes," he replied quietly. "You knew her?" For a long moment, the girl said nothing. Her lips trembled, her hands fidgeted with the photo she held. Then, she whispered, "She saved my life once." Ethan froze. "What do you mean?" Tears filled her eyes again as she began to speak about a time, years ago, when she was a homeless teenager on the streets. A woman named Claire had found her shivering under a bridge, hungry and terrified. Claire had taken her to a diner, bought her food, and given her her own coat. "She told me," the girl said softly, "that no matter how broken life feels, kindness can still rebuild it." Ethan's throat tightened. He had never known this part of Claire's life, the small acts of goodness she never mentioned, the quiet heroism she lived by. "That sounds like her," he murmured, but the girl's expression shifted, a mix of pain and hesitation. "There's more," she said. "Something she gave me before she died, something I was told to give back to you." Ethan blinked, stunned. "What are you talking about?" The girl reached into her bag and pulled out a small, weathered envelope. On it, in faded ink, was his name: Ethan. Ethan's hands trembled as he took the envelope. His name, written in Claire's graceful handwriting, made his breath catch. The paper was old, fragile, as if it had traveled through years just to reach him that morning. He looked at the girl, searching her face for answers. "She told me," the girl said softly, "if anything ever happened to her, and if I ever found you, I should give you this. I didn't know how to find you before. I didn't even know who you were. But when I saw the name on her grave, I realized this is what she meant. Ethan carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a letter, Claire's last words, written with love, sorrow, and wisdom. His eyes blurred as he began to read. My dearest Ethan, if you're reading this, it means I couldn't tell you everything I wanted to before I left. There's something I need you to know, something about the girl who found this letter. Her name is Lily. I met her when she had nothing, and I saw myself in her. She reminded me that love doesn't end when life does, it continues through the lives we touch. I helped her, yes, but she helped me more. She made me believe in hope again, even when my body was failing me. Ethan, promise me you'll find her. She deserves a chance, an education, a home, a future. You once told me you built your empire to make me proud. But the truth is, I was already proud, not because of your success, but because of your heart. Keep it open, my love. There's more life ahead of you than you think. By the time he finished, Ethan could barely see through the tears. He looked at Lily, the poor girl who had unknowingly carried his wife's final message all these years, and for the first time in years, he felt something shift inside him. Grief loosened its grip, replaced by something purer, purpose. He asked softly, "Where have you been living?" Lily hesitated. "Nowhere permanent, sometimes the shelter, sometimes the street. I work part-time at a diner." Ethan exhaled, fighting the lump in his throat. "Not anymore," he said. "From now on, you'll stay where my wife would have wanted you to be, somewhere safe, where your future isn't stolen by the past." The girl shook her head, tears falling again. "I can't accept." "You're not accepting charity," Ethan interrupted gently. "You're accepting Claire's love, the last gift she left for both of us." As they stood there, side by side, the wind picked up, carrying the faint scent of lilies and sunlight through the graves. Ethan looked toward his wife's headstone and smiled through his tears. "You never stopped giving, did you?" he whispered. In that moment, something sacred happened. Two souls, one broken by loss, one scarred by struggle, found healing in the same place where love once ended. Months later, Ethan helped Lily enroll in college, naming a scholarship fund after Claire. And every Sunday, they still visited the grave together, one bringing lilies, the other bringing gratitude, because sometimes, love's greatest miracle isn't in what it gives, but in how it continues even after goodbye.